Yeah, I'm not so sure about some of those shots. You know, that one shot in particular seemed to have your rule of thirds was all off and just way too much headroom. And yeah, you probably. Oh wait, are you ready? Okay, just a sec. Yeah, hey, I got to do my weekly update real quick. Let me call you back. All right, I'll talk to you in a minute. Bye bye. Oh, sorry about that. Hey, here for your weekly update. First, let's start talking about weekly wrap-up from last week, our Jersey Shore edition. Great job again, seniors. Very solid show. High production quality. You could tell you put a lot of effort, a lot of quality went into that. You can see that with the different shots, putting lots of different cuts into it. So keep up the good work. Another thing that stood out with that show is even though you guys had done this theme and you guys were all in character and stuff, you still found ways for most of your stories to bring it back to the school, talking about the spring sports, or the other one, of course, talking about the MME party. So that's what we always have to remember as we go forward. It's great to have silly shows, have things funny, have the characters, but we always want to bring it back as much as possible into news, things that are relevant to Eastern High School. What's happening, what just happened, what's going to happen. That's what makes the show, that's the heart of the whole show. That's what makes it more compelling and interesting to watch. The 1 Minute Professor episode, I thought that's a great start to it. We want to keep that thing going. There's a lot of potential there. Dylan, awesome job on the intro with the animation. It's amazing. I think the thing we have to work on next time with the 1 Minute Professor is we got to get it more dynamic. So we need those multiple cameras in that room when the teacher is explaining, so we can get different angles, close-ups. Make it just more, make it pop a little bit more. Maybe some graphics, some text flies in when depending on what the teacher's saying, just to make it a little more high energy, because the energy level got a little bit low during the part when Brayman's talking and it was all one take. And that's how you increase energy, is you have multiple different takes, different cuts, cut. So, hey, one thing that took me by surprise, and I just want to address briefly with you guys, is I heard after the show aired complain about our use of the term Guido. And not only did I think we said it a couple of times, but we actually put it in print at the beginning of Fist Pump. And it totally did not even occur to me, but afterwards, once it was brought to my attention and I looked it up, I realized, of course, it's true that Guido is an offensive term, it's a slang term, and very offensive to many Italian Americans. And I know that was not our intent, and I know that you guys I'm sure you were just like me, you never even realized that people would be offended by that, or some people would. So I think that's an educational moment for us to be aware of that. I did put a little message on the YouTube video, so when that part of the video comes up, it's basically like a little explanation, apology that there was no ill will intended. But we recognize that it is a term now, that our horizons have been broadened and we've become aware of that. So I invite you to take a minute and go out on Google, and you could search that a little bit, find out a little bit more for yourself, or follow the link that I provided. But I think it's just, the overall vibe of the show, I think, that comes through, and most people would see this, is that we are not trying to be mean-spirited at all, and we are not trying to, make fun of the whole group of Italian Americans, or, all Italian Americans who live in New Jersey talk or act like this. We were really basically just focusing in on those 6 or 7 characters who are on a TV show called The Jersey Shore, and using them as a kind of as a springboard, as a model for us to build our characters on, and basically to mimic them. We really didn't even make fun of them so much. We really were just kind of using them just as our own character. So I think that the overall vibe, people realize we were not trying to do that. And that just brings me to one last quick thing about as we move forward. Whenever we do humor, that's something we always have to be careful about. That's kind of an easy way. A lot of times your first instinct, some people's first instincts for humor is you try to make fun of somebody else. It's kind of like a typical, stereotypical, middle school, junior high humor. And that's something you always want to stay away from, of course, is we don't want to have humor that's mean-spirited or put somebody else down to make us laugh. Like the old thing where you push the nerd down in his books and haha, isn't that so funny? No, it's not really funny. So that's just something that we keep in mind, is because I know we're always striving to do funny things. So always be mindful to not fall into stereotypes and not to be mean-spirited or put somebody else down or a group down. Now talking about this week's weekly wrap-up, we've got the teacher cribs, and I think that's a solid show from what I've heard. I want to preview because I heard there's some audio problems, but hopefully that's good to go because that's about a good 5.5, 6 minutes, which means you guys would only have to do 4 minutes. And I know you didn't get any shots done last week because of the MME, so I think with that in mind, it should be very manageable. Put something together, word of the week, and maybe one more or two news stories. That's the key, of course, is remembering we want to keep it relevant, keep it focusing on covering events, and keeping the extra little entertaining kind of things to a minimum. 1 or 2 a week is best. Now the last thing is this week we're going to introduce a public service announcement, and I've got another video to talk about that. But that's what we want to start working on. If you need to finish up your music video, finish this up today. Tomorrow we'll watch them and we'll be done with those music videos. Now just one word before we move into public service announcements as we leave music videos. We've got to all do a better job of doing our storyboarding and our pre-planning and our brainstorming. When you've got time available in class to do that stuff, you really need to take advantage of it. I know from the music video we had a couple groups that came to me and said, and I observed that some groups really put more into this one. But there's still some groups out there that, you guys are just basically lazy, too lazy. And you've got a lot of time available to you in class and you're not using it all, utilizing it as effectively as you should to really put together some fun, interesting videos that have quality to them. And that just basically comes down to, you got to spend the time, get yourself involved, get your team excited about the topic. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility that you guys have for these things, so you really want to pick something that's interesting to you, that motivates you, and then you got to, of course, put some effort into it to make it happen. Otherwise, it's not going to happen by itself, or you'll just do it last minute and it'll just be kind of shoddy, not something you're proud of. So you want to shoot things that you're proud of, that you're excited about, that you're interested in, that we want to watch and you want to watch. So that's my inspirational speech for the day: is put in quality, put in hard work, and it'll pay off for you. And it's true for everything, of course. All right, I will see you around the class.